setting new standards in podcast excellence. You have joined the WBT, fully focused on business and taxes. Here is your host, Michael Lodge.
And welcome to the WBT. This is Michael Lodge on another day of business. You know, every single morning, I get up at 5 a.m. My body clock, my mind clock, or whatever you want to call it, wakes me up at exactly 5 a.m. Then 5:30, all my other alarm clocks begin spouting off and making a lot of noise. But at 5 o'clock is when I get up and I begin to think about business. I'm trying to read as many news stories about business and what's happening in the world and what's going on in the economic markets. If there's any new tax news out there that I need to share with my clients and my friends. I started this podcast as a educational series for my clients and friends, and I consider you as my friend. So every single day I look at new stories. So I begin to find the stories and post them into our Flipboard magazine for our firm. And I try to find those stories that benefit me, and they also benefit the people that follow me. And I do this every single morning. So I read probably through 30 stories or glance through about 30 to 40 stories every single morning on business. And I find that purposeful because it helps me learn every single day. And I want you to get into that learning process too. So that's what I do. Every single morning, I get up and I begin to learn and to pass on that learning to the people that follow me on my podcast and on my blogs and, of course, in the WBT magazine on Flipboard that we do every single day. I had a friend, and I consider him a really good friend out of the Philippines. And he used to work for me when I had a call center in the Philippines. He was my accountant. And he was an excellent accountant. And over the years, he's always remained a friend. And he's now at the point where he's been in private practice now for quite some time, but he wants to build his private practice. He wants to make it become stronger. Now, in the Philippines, things are done just a little bit differently. You know, you have the IRS form over there, which is called the BIR. And that's basically what he does is he represents people before the BIR when they're in trouble. And he's really damn good at it. But he sent me a message the other day. He says, what is it that you do every single morning to help grow your firm? And I told him what I do. Every single day I do this podcast when I'm not sick. And I have been sick over the last 3 weeks with this stupid flu and cold. But when I'm not, I do a podcast every single day, and I try to find a subject that is going to inform you and me. And I also do the blogs, and I write on taxation every single day. Sometimes I do politics and how politics affects how politics affects taxation and accounting and business and everything else, and of course business stories. And so the point that I was trying to make to him is that you have to dedicate at least an hour every single morning on promoting your business, either through blogs, podcasts, writing articles, giving speeches, being creative every single day and trying to reach out to the people that you want to touch or that you want as clients. And, you know, on top of doing all that, but there are also once a month, I also do a newsletter that goes out to all my current clients. And that usually brings in another client from my current client. Yesterday, I had a client call and say, hey, I need to make an appointment to come in and see you, and I'm bringing someone with me. Because they saw your podcast, they heard your podcast, they saw your blogs, and they wanted to meet with you and become a new client of yours. So you have to work on it every single morning or evening, whichever the time that you're doing, to make sure that you reach out. You have to think about this, okay? Yes, I am, not you, but I am a tax accountant and a tax advisor and a business advisor. And every single day, I reach out and touch people. If there's anything that I've learned about doing a podcast, it is not the norm for an accountant to do. I don't think you see that many accountants out there doing podcasts and blogs. Well, might be blogs, doing a magazine, doing as much possible to teach first and then second to bring in business. I always tell people, don't think about the money first, think about what you're doing and do it the best, and then the money will flow in. It's the same thing in accountancy. You have to do what you do best, and then the money will flow in. When you have the reputation of what you do best. And that's what I've I've been doing this since 1984. That's when I first went into private practice in San Diego, California. And the reason why I was able to build my business is because I did what I did best. I took on projects that no one else wanted to take on. These were things that other accountants just didn't want to touch because they just didn't have the time to do it. One of my very first gigs that I took on was taking on a cogeneration power company who had companies all around the world, but they've never consolidated the financial statements to see how well they're doing as a company. And that was my responsibility, to go in and consolidate the reporting. No one else wanted to touch it because they didn't want to get in their hands touching foreign exchange rates and everything else, because they had companies all around the world. But I did it. And once I did that, then another company called me, then another company, and another company. The word got out about what I was doing. But during the process of doing my job, I also educated those that were working with me or who I reported up to. It was always an educational process. So throughout my practice that I have had, I have always tried to educate in everything that I do, just so that people know why I'm asking those questions, and they should be asking those questions too. So getting back to my friend, is that I told him that it takes dedication every single day to find a new way to reach out, educate, speak, and help your clients, and that goes by word of mouth to the next person, to the next person. I love referral business, and I love my clients that refer their friends to me. And that's how we have built my firm over the years, is that we teach, we focus on their needs, and more business comes in. So it's that constant battle of your time. You have to force yourself to take 1 hour a day at least and focus on your personal marketing skills and educational skills to your clients and to other new clients. It takes time, but you have to do it every single day. Motivate yourself. That's the first thing I do in the morning. At 5 a.m., I begin to look at things that I can pass, or articles and educational things that I can pass on to my friends out there. So, my friend is going to do well. He is going to put into practice a new way of thinking, of reaching out to individuals. Now, he's in a different country, and some of the things that I do may not work over there, because technology over there, I hate to tell you, in the Philippines, is still behind. It's still behind because there's a few companies over there that control the marketplace for internet and everything else. So it takes a little bit of time for things to, what we do here, they can only do partially over there. But if you focus on education of your clients, an education of your friends, you will draw in the business. And as accountants, we have to do that every single day because things change in business so very quickly. So we have to continually begin to educate those that we work with daily. So I hope that you understand what I'm trying to tell you this morning is that if you own a business, even if it's an accounting practice, a tax practice, or a hairdresser or whatever, you need to spend time reaching out to prospective and also to your clients and educate them. If you educate them, then they'll know that you know what you're talking about. And it's a good process for you too. Because the more that you know, the higher the advantage that you have with these people and with your clients and future clients. So that's my message for today. Now, those of you in the corporate world, in the business world, I need to remind you again, next week on the 31st is when all of your W-2s and 1099s have to be reported to the Internal Revenue Service. And they're getting tougher on that. They want you to meet that deadline. So if you haven't done it, make sure that you get on top of your tax departments or your accounting departments and get those documents out. It's vital. Also, on the 29th of January, it's the beginning of tax season. That means that you can now report on the 29th to the Internal Revenue Service. So make sure that you're ready for that. If you have not begun to prepare your documents and you have not organized your tax information for the tax accountant, listen, I have one out there. And you can go to www.lodge-co.com and click on the icon up on the right-hand corner that says Client Forms, and you will find the tax organizer in there for your individual side and also for business. There are two, so you have to look at the one which is halfway down the page, and then down at the bottom of the page is, scroll down to the bottom of the page and you will find the business organizer. Those are those people who have small businesses, C Corps, or whatever. Okay? And if you have not begun to prepare your financial statements for your tax accountant, you need to do so very quickly. Your accountant needs to see your income statement and your balance sheet. So get those ready because you need them, because your reporting requirements for LLCs, C Corps, not C Corps, I'm sorry. Let me start again. Your LLCs, your S Corps, and your partnerships are due March 15th. And the C Corp is due April 19th. So you need to get them done because it takes time for us to produce those financial statements and go through them. What we do is we do what is called a scrub meeting, where we sit down and we literally scrub line by line to make sure that we're reporting the correct numbers in the right bucket on your financial statement. And that takes time for us to do because from there it then goes to your tax, your tax return, and that has to be spot on per tax regulations. Okay, so you need to get those done and you really need to think about it. It's vital. If you need help, call us at our office. Go to our website. Our phone number is at www.lodge-co.com, and our phone numbers are there. Our faxes are there. Everything is there. And remember, we have offices in Burbank, California, and also in Greenville, South Carolina. So we're on both coasts. We can meet you halfway. Okay, this is Mike Lodge on the WBT, and I really look forward to talking with you very, very soon. Go out. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to the WBT with Michael Lodge. Join us again tomorrow as we explore more about business and taxes. Follow us on iHeartRadio and go to our podcast website at www.wbtpod.com and listen to all of our podcasts and read our blogs.
World of Business. taxes on WBT.
This is brought to you by Lodge & Co., a business and tax advisory firm where your success is our goal. Call us today toll-free at 888-681-1518 or visit us at www.lodge-co.com and learn more about what we can do for you. Lodge & Co., your source for sound business and tax services.